Yo, what's the word? Let's get it.
Pick up my bags, I be free at last. Don't wanna hear another word from my bum ass past. I graduate to know what's fate and what's a fantasy line. I done walked the wrong path maybe a couple of times. Stepping through, I hope to see windows and green leaves. Freedom of speech, sunshine, rhythm up under my feet. Is it a dream? I check the clock for times like this. People around you can't understand what it means to exist. So make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. I see my time around the world before I'm giving it up. I see myself.
Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. You know what it is, bedtime stories.
Niggas can never compare. Giving time to a world that'll never be there. So get your weight up, press. Hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Rest enough to see yourself inside a dream. Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. And get your weight up, press. Hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Rest enough to see yourself inside a dream. Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. And get your weight up, press. Hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Rest enough to see yourself inside a dream.
Again, we got a few things, man. We got HOA violation. That's going to come. It's going to come at the end. Got a PowerPoint for that. Class is in session tonight. We got Shannon Sharpe. You know, he's settling his case. And we also got JSO investigation. Went crazy on social media. Got a few things to unpack, man. Let's get to it. You know what it is.
Keep your head up. Gotta chase your dreams out the paper. Over time things change. So much bloodshed, it's a shame. Don't know what the future holds. Humble, I'll remain. Don't replace fear where trust should be. Right here, shouldn't know what your left think. Don't compare the size, focus on your team. Can't be myself, won't be anything. Grant me peace, I've been patient. Trying to find solutions without foundation. One life, better not waste it. Gotta adjust with the times, be adjacent. What's fair, not equal. In life, notice you get no sequel. Sometimes my but I keep my head up, prevent from getting wet up. And times things get better, till then Glock and sweater. I wake up,
make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. And get your weight up, press. Hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Rest enough to see yourself inside a dream. Make a dollar, be a god, crown yourself, be a martyr, dream big, be a father, word up. And get your weight up, press. Hit the gym so it's enough to hold your head up. Rest enough to see yourself inside a dream.
All right. So we appreciate everybody for rocking with us, man. Bedtime stories. Here's the deal. Tonight, we have a few topics, a couple topics. I will say that, I don't know. I don't think it should be alarming at this point. At least I don't think so. I don't think the things, matter of fact, I know the things that we discuss should not be alarming at this point. So what I want to do is I want to shine a light on a few things. Number one, appreciate y'all for rocking with us. Once you come in, please like and subscribe. I'm sorry, hit the notification bell. Make sure that you are subscribed so that you won't miss any of our content. Okay, bedtime stories. Lil bro, he's out handling his business, man. At the end of the day, we want to make sure that everyone understands that we are here to give the people what they want indefinitely. Indefinitely. So my big thing is this. As we get into the first one, HOA violation involving woman's brown grass led to her being arrested and jailed for 7 days. That's the first topic. So we want to take our time with this. Class is in session this time. I made an entire PowerPoint. So we're going to make sure that the people get exactly what they need. And please feel free to, if anyone is looking for, straightforward information or backhand information, and when I say that, any other outstanding articles that you may find out, please do so and check it out. But I'll play the video itself. That's what I'm doing, playing the video. All right. So let's see. All right. I think this is fine. Let me just actually. Calm down a little bit. All right. So let's check it out. This woman was jailed for 7 years. I'm sorry, not 7 years. I'm tripping. 7 days. She was jailed for 7 days for having brown grass. Let's see what the people got to say about it.
Now, the I-Team has investigated a lot of complaints involving HOAs and how they use their power, but we've never seen anything quite like this.
Yeah, so the woman in the mugshot right here wanted us to tell you her story, and she wanted us to show you her mugshot. She was arrested and spent a week in jail for what started out as an HOA complaint over her lawn.
I feel humiliated about the whole thing, you know, like I got my head down because this is so embarrassing.
Well, tonight, investigative reporter Adam Walser there revealing how she wound up behind bars and caught up with the HOA's attorney to ask about his involvement.
This is what they were showing in court, like pictures of the brown grass.
Yep.
The grass isn't always green in Irina Green's yard, thanks to a big tree that you can see in this drone video, and a drought that led the county to impose watering restrictions last year didn't help.
Looks like you got some pieces of sod here.
Green says her yard is far from the worst in Riverview's Creekview subdivision.
If you drive around my neighborhood, you'll see there's plenty of yards that are not up to par.
But so far, she's the only homeowner to actually go to jail for failing to keep her yard up to her HOA standards. It all started with notices from the HOA's management company.
And it went from the grass being brown to, you know, there's a dent in my garage.
Dents too small to see from the road.
That was a part of my court case.
Green was also cited for having a dirty mailbox covered in mildew due to shade and moisture from that same tree.
I would assume you could probably clean that whole mailbox in a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
And for having a cargo van similar to other ones we observed in the neighborhood. The HOA filed a lawsuit against Green in Hillsborough County Court, demanding she correct the violations. She represented herself, preparing handwritten explanations that the HOA and judge rejected. Green appeared at a hearing last July in which the judge gave her an ultimatum.
My grass had to be brung up to par. He said, you can get seeds, you can do something, but you got 30 days to get it corrected. I said, fine. You know, he said, and if it's not done in 30 days, you're going to go to jail.
Irene says she spent the next month correcting the violations.
I sold my van to comply. My mailbox was clean. I bought seeds and watered my grass.
But she missed her next court date.
I was supposed to receive documentation. Nothing was sent to my home. And I reached out to the courthouse several times to try to find out when was my court date.
The judge signed an order holding Green in contempt of court and issued a warrant for her arrest at the HOA attorney's request.
It is pretty extreme. It certainly is, yeah.
We asked Stetson law professor Paul Boudreau what he makes of this case.
But I think it's pretty rare in a civil case for someone to have a contempt order.
Green was pulled over by a sheriff's deputy in late May after picking up her 15-year-old daughter from cheerleading practice.
When I got out.
Let me just pause it here and say a couple things. We're going to go back to 257. I want to go through just a couple things because after we play the video, this video is 7 minutes long. I'll go back to the 2-minute 57 mark. But I want us to think about different things because I have an entire presentation to show the people. But a couple of things that I want people to listen to because I don't think when we're looking at these videos, we're also not comprehending what she said and what the white man is saying. There's a white man here that's interviewing her. The white man said that she not only had a van that she got written up for, she had a van that looked exactly like the people that she was living around within the neighborhood. They hadn't got written up. Another thing that was said, she has been the only one thus far that has gone to jail for such offenses. That's another thing. So it's not this is a new thing. It's not like this has been going on. Another thing they said that A warrant was issued for her arrest because she did not show up to a court date. She reached out several times, never ever was given documentation of the date. She showed up to court once. I'm pretty sure this lady is logical and reasonable enough to show up the second time if need be. She provided her own documentation. She took pictures. They called out dents inside of they called out dents in that garage. There are plenty. What is she supposed to do? Get another garage door? These are just questions I'm asking at this point. But you know how this is. Let's take the layer off. This black motherfucker, blah, 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 blah. She black. Let's get up out of here. Oh, no, she needs to learn. We're gonna make her an actual example. She needs to learn. If she's gonna live here, she needs to abide by the rules that are said in these documents. That's what happened. So she took it upon herself to make sure that she complied. When you comply, you still get sent to jail. These are not new terms. These are not new situations that actually happen. We've seen this story time and time again. I never knew that it could be this. I mean, this is a barbaric act. This is barbaric when it comes to taking somebody to jail over this type of stuff, man. He ain't putting hands and feet on nobody, but you taking them to jail, shackled her feet, shackled her wrist, and took her to jail. So let's go to 257. Let's go to 257.
It's pretty rare in a civil case for someone to have a contempt order.
Green was pulled over by a sheriff's deputy in late May after picking up her 15-year-old daughter from cheerleading practice.
When I got out, he said, "Miss Green, do you know that you have a warrant for your arrest?"
She was taken to the Orient Road Jail.
If they got you handcuffed behind your back?
Yes, I'm treated like a criminal.
At the jail, she got more bad news.
There was no bond, so I couldn't even go home to my family. I sat in there for 7 days in the jailhouse, like a criminal.
To be incarcerated without bond is certainly an extreme measure and is pretty rare.
Now,
Bro, you acting like you reading some sort of scientific theory from out of a science book, bro. They destroyed her entire livelihood. She got PTSD after this. She was away from her kids for 7 days for brown grass. Who on earth is doing this? When we talk about the most intelligent people in the United States, these people that's running the HOA can't be a part of it. They're out of here. We putting them in the unintelligent bucket. They're done. Who gets bond? Serial killers, murderers, rapists, people who steal get a bond. Plenty of people get a bond. I don't understand why this lady couldn't get a bond. You know what it sounds like? It sounds like the judge was trying to teach her a lesson. She was always going to get out, barring anything catastrophic happens, because you know that happens. Sandra Bland. Look up Sandra Bland. Sandra Bland. Things just happen to black people, it seems like.
Now there's a mugshot of you right now.
Yep.
How did that make you feel, just to be put in those orange clothes?
It makes me feel horrible, like I work hard,
Nigga, how you think it feel to be put in them orange clothes?
I work hard to buy this home, for me and my kids in a better neighborhood and environment, and to be taken to jail and to be treated like that for brown grass at my own home, it's horrible.
David Lair is a Palm Beach attorney who represents homeowners in cases against HOAs. His law partner wrote the best-selling book, Bad HOA.
You have an HOA who was quick to go after her and to use the full force that they're entitled to.
Have you ever heard of it getting to this point where someone actually goes to jail?
I have not seen that. To be clear, the association does not have the power to put you in jail. certain other events intervened. Certainly, the judge had the right to do it. I think perhaps there could be more lenient remedies.
Green's sister-in-law, who is a paralegal, filed a petition 6 days after she was incarcerated, requesting an emergency hearing.
And I went to court, and I had to be shackled from my hands to my feet.
And you're there in civil county court, right?
Yeah.
You're the only one wearing orange, right?
Yeah, the only one.
Green's relatives sent pictures of the yard and other evidence to the judge, a different one than the judge who issued the arrest warrant. Green says an attorney for the HOA opposed her release.
He says, well, it hasn't been resodded. The whole yard needs to be resodded. And she's like, not from those pictures that I see. She's like, no, I want her released immediately.
So you were going to sit in jail while they resodded your yard?
Yeah, he wanted me to continue to sit in jail and not come home to my family.
Green was released on the judge's order. I'm Adam. I'm with ABC Action News. We caught up with Creekview HOA attorney Francis Frischia, the one who asked for the...
If not for that judge, she would still be in jail. This came out 4 or 5 days ago. So I appreciate, I'm not sure if that, I wonder if that judge was white or black. I would love to know. Because at the end of the day, if white, please, white people, talk to your other white people. Can you please do that? Talk to your other white people. They have no clue how to handle human beings or simple situations. If you're intelligent, if you're a smart person, you can also understand that this person, this lady, logical, sweet lady with a family, did not deserve to go to jail because her grass was not resodded. I don't even know what the hell resodded got to do with it. I don't even know what that means. My point is, for your grass to be cut, this is ridiculous, man.
The arrest warrant outside his office. Do you think that was...
These to kind of lock you up. Him right here. I'm talking white. And the type of explanation that he gives, essentially, he did exactly what he wanted to do. This guy, we caught up with the Creekview HOA, I believe, attorney. HOA, this guy, whoever else the judge, they did what they wanted to do without reason, without true reason, without logical, any sort of logical paperwork that says, hey, this lady did not abide by the rules. We're going to send her to jail.
Kind of harsh to have her spend 5 days or 7 days, I believe, in jail.
I have no comment, but I'll email you on that.
He emailed us a statement saying in part, quote, Ms. Green received notices of violations. She disregarded them. Ms. Green failed to show up in court on August 19th. Her failure to abide by the court's instruction led to the arrest warrant being issued.
Let's just dissect this real quick. So here is the response from Francis. Whatever, it's either Frischia or Frischia. Francis, Creekview HOA attorney. Here's the response from Francis. It said, Miss Green received notices of violations. She disregarded them. That's not true. She received notices of violations and took it upon herself to actually correct what you guys put inside of those violations. Outside of the garage, which you have to wait and give people time to, if you look for to change the whole damn door, you have to give her time to fix the little dent that you can't see from driving across her house. We're talking about the maintaining of the property and building out the quality consistently around the neighborhood. The guy said you can't see it while you're driving away or across from her house or by her house. He said that for a reason. What specifically in the HOA document said that there shouldn't be any dents, small or big enough, because that should be a distinct writing within the document that says, okay, no dents should be this size, because if we for people to look at the property, we want it basically to look the same. Give her time to actually replace the. Other than that, she took care of the grass. She painted the mailbox. She did the things that she needed to do within her power and showed up and took pictures of it. She did not disregard them. So you are an unintelligent man. You're not a smart man at all, by far. Your statements are asinine. You could have came up with this on your feet. We gave you some time. You came back with this BS. Miss Green failed to show up in court on August 19th. Her failure to abide by the court's instruction led to the arrest warrant being issued. So what was she arrested for? The grass or not showing up in court? That's my big question. What was she arrested for? Was she arrested for the property not looking a certain way, not looking up to par, or not showing up for court? I believe this guy's an asshole.
Her failure to abide by the court's instruction led to the arrest warrant being issued. We called and left a business card at the Creekview HOA president's home, and we called and emailed the HOA's property management company, which issued the violations. We didn't hear back from either. Legal experts say there are lessons to be learned.
Sometimes they act in a petty manner, but if they decide that you need to do something, you need to follow the rules. And when a judge tells you to do something, you have to do it.
I think that they have way too much power.
Experts say there are lessons to violations. We didn't hear back from either.
How are you able just to not respond back to people who are trying to figure out why the hell y'all locked this lady up for 7 days? Who's running these organizations? I think majority of the people running organizations that perform in this matter are idiots, performing asinine acts amongst people who cannot fend for themselves because they're not cut from that same organization, system, whatever else, fraternity, whatever else. That's what I think. They don't just do it to black people, they do it to white people too. So this has to stop. This has to stop. The lady did everything in her power.
But if they decide that you need to do something, you need to follow the rules.
Legal experts, that's another thing I want to talk about. Legal experts are not supposed to be petty. So when it comes to me being a judge, any sort of politician, anybody that has the power to actually have someone's future in the palm of their hand, they are not supposed to be petty at all. But you know it's impossible to do that. You know it's impossible to invoke emotion or provide an emotional response and give an emotional decision when you have a guy who came in who killed 10 women, raped them all, and then wants to be set free. As a judge, you may feel some type of way about that. So what they teach you in legalities and being a judge, what they teach you is to put your humanity first. Because if it's not put first, your humanity and the empathy that you will show the person that's coming in, you may wind up giving the person more time than they actually deserve. Now, some people will say, hey, this guy should be under the jail for what he did. Who are you to judge? See, court systems, the court system is trash. When you invite 12 people to come in to essentially judge the person who have committed a crime, they pick people from specific backgrounds for a reason. They believe that if you're black, you come from a terrible neighborhood, and you're somebody who's trying to come up and put their son through school, that they can actually build upon that. Oh yeah, we want you for this case where this Catholic priest put his hands on his little boy and he decided to run away with that. We want you for that. This is the game. And judges get away with invoking their own emotion on cases that shouldn't be because of how they feel in the moment. If you have a guy coming in, your emotion is crazy whack, you feeling as though you need to put this guy under the jail, your body budget is so off marker that you're angry about whoever's coming in front of you, you don't need to be a judge. So this is how the game goes. There's a law within the book that pretty much tells you, we got ChatGPT, we got Google, look it up. The law tells you how to act in a certain situation. If you don't meet these criteria, you don't meet the better time that you could possibly serve. This is all crazy. But if you don't understand this and know this, they'll put you in all type of tricks and holes. Lack of a better interpretation. So let's go back here. Let's finish this video out.
And when a judge tells you to do something, you have to do it.
I think that they have way too much power. I mean, I never heard of anything like this in my life.
I'm My Team investigator Adam Walser with photojournalist Matt McGlashan taking action for you.
Yeah. We don't need you to take action for us. We need for you to go talk to whoever at the top, tell them to stop the malarkey. So we're going to get into this. We're going to get into the housing discrimination. This PowerPoint class is in session. This PowerPoint is called Housing Discrimination from Redlining to Greenlining. A deep dive by Dr. Kimbrough. Not yet. Not yet. But you know how we're rocking on bedtime stories. We're going to give you everything you need right here. All right. So it says, what is an HOA? Homeowners Association. An HOA is a private neighborhood organization that enforces rules and manages property. Exists in every state, but not every neighborhood. Often nonprofit, but can have exclusionary practices. So for people in the back, nonprofit does not always mean they don't take money. Everybody looking to get paid, man. Let's keep going. I don't want to move too fast because sometimes there are things that I want to touch on. But they're private neighborhood organizations that enforces rules and manages properties. So they came up with this because within the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments, it states that upon the state, you cannot discriminate against someone being black or from a different background from living in the neighborhood. So you know what happened? They created a private organization within the law called HOA, Homeowners Association. See, they play these games with us. They play these games. This is why I tell people to share the video so that you know this, so that you won't be tricked, hoodwinked, bamboozled into buying a home under a homeowners association, private organization, and have to abide by their rules, pay fees every month, but you're happy you have a home when you could possibly spend 7 days in jail. I'm just here to help. Historical roots of HOAs grew rapidly post-World War II alongside suburban expansion. Used to enforce racial exclusivity via covenants. Even after covenants were outlawed, discrimination continued via policy and practice. HOAs grew rapidly after World War II because after World War II, people of color seeing that just because they served, died, for all my patriots out there, served and died for their country does not love them back. They realized this as they were trying to actually go buy houses, take care of their families. Oh, in this country called the United States, I will be happily able to live wherever I wanted because I fought for you and sacrificed my life. And wrong again. So in order for some people to feel accepted, the state granted some sort of expansion with the implementations of the 13th and 14th Amendment. But HOAs came into play. So 20 years later, 1968 was the Fair Housing Act. 20 years before 1948, we had something called Shelley versus Kramer. The Supreme Court ruled states can't enforce racially restrictive housing covenants. Private racism wasn't outlawed, but public enforcement was. Let me say it again. So private racism was not outlawed, but public enforcement was. When you have a state, the state is a very public institution. Don't get it twisted. The state is an institution. That's why when we had the Emancipation Proclamation, all Lincoln did was turn over ownership of singularities like white men, turn over ownership from them to the state. Essentially, that's all he did. Paved the way for civil rights housing laws like the Fair Housing Act in 1968. I already knew that. Let's move on. The policy remix after Shelley. Zoning laws used to block affordable multifamily housing. You may ask, hey, Kimbrough, what zoning laws that block affordable multifamily housing? When you think of people who grew up in poverty and don't have a lot, their resources are slim. They need places where they can live comfortably, and that's affordable. So they're not looking for a house that maybe costs $100,000, $200,000, way out of their budget. Not to mention how much it may cost to live in that community. They're looking for enough so that they can participate in the American dream and the American way and have enough space for their family. So they want a duplex or a triplex. They want affordable apartment housing. That's what they want. What zoning does is they say, okay, in these areas here, we're just going to have houses. Let's tear this down. Let's tear down affordable housing. Let's put up houses that only certain people can afford. So they take away the duplex, the triplex. They take away affordable apartment complexes. HOAs enforced exclusivity through non-racial language. So, does anyone know about the federal papers? The great federal papers. Talks about ownership, talks about people being able to live the American dream and what Alexander Hamilton fought for. Do you know the ownership at that time was slaves? They were slaves. You know, they talk about being private, having exclusivity, ownership, and being, you know, having different ways to essentially pronounce BS and pronounce racial discrimination and pronounce, you know, the tearing of actual resources for all kinds of people. They use tricky language. The time period in which the federal papers were written, we already know what was going on at that time. So why are you talking about liberty and freedom if it don't exist for everybody? What are you talking about? Just say it plain. Lending discrimination persisted. Subprime loans, loan denials. So lending discrimination. When we talk about banks actually lending to people who only can actually keep up with what they lend. It may sound simple, but it goes a little deeper. I'm gonna go into it after I read this. Neighborhood character became coded language for segregation. So let's talk about the lending discrimination. Because here's what we don't understand. When it comes to actually a bank having the trust established to actually lend to a person, what do they check? They check your income, your credit, maybe your family history, how many kids you have, how old you are. That's what happens. So they say, hey, you know what? This person, we don't trust that this person will be able to pay us back in a timely fashion. It's pretty simple. That's what the bank does. They analyze all that. You have to be this, you have to be that. That's not too hard. It's not too difficult for a bank to do, especially when you're black. 1800s, 1700s, 1900s. Nobody gave the black people anything. We still waiting on reparations for 400 years plus. So that's not hard to do what the bank has set out. Here's what happens. Not only does the bank get to keep their money and get to discriminate against people who are looking just to buy a home, purchase a home, the white people also benefit off of having the banks lend to them and also manipulating and fucking over the black people. Here's how. Instead of giving black people actual loans, homeowner loans, white people or the banks or the people who are lending would give them rental contracts. Within the contract, you don't get the benefit of having an actual house. You never own it. It goes to the person who actually bought the house and is renting it to you. You don't build equity. They put language in the documents for black people to look, read, pay them, because the banks, the bigger banks, would not loan to them. They go sign these contracts. Unbeknownst to them, if they miss a payment, if they're late on a payment, they can get you out of the house. Black people did this because they wanted a house. They wanted to be able to live. They wanted to be able to go to the resource schools, the schools that are funded. This is what black people did. For some, it was the only way out for having an affordable house. Yeah, okay, we'll give you that, this rent payment. You late, sign this here, boom, bam. You late, I could take everything. You out on your ass. Neighborhood character became coded language for segregation. I'd rather not be judged by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. Say less. Essentially, if you don't look like the people who are around inside of the neighborhood, we don't want you to live here. I didn't really expound on Kramer, Shelley and Kramer. So Shelley versus Kramer. Kramer, white, Shelley. Okay. Shelley was moving into the neighborhood. This was a white neighborhood. And Kramer essentially said, yo, this Shelley, she black. Don't know black people supposed to live over here. 1948. Y'all act like 1948 was like 500 years ago. If you was born in 1948, you probably still alive. What, you 78, something like that? 80? The Fair Housing Act ain't come into play until 1968. Let that sink in. The people who have lived in a country where Fair Housing Act came into play, they're barely 60 years old. So this is craziness to me. Well, let's keep going. Real cities, real receipts. Charlotte ranked 50th in upward mobility for black children. Upward mobility means children looking to actually learn and become productive citizens, because that's what teachers do. We're trying to prepare your student to become the best citizen they could possibly be within a society that they're growing up in. It's not to become, there's no promise that they'll be an astronaut or the president or whatever else. That's it when they're in our classroom. So Charlotte ranked 50th in upward mobility for black children. Minneapolis, zoned. So what this means essentially is that the black kids, the black families in Charlotte aren't getting access to resources. That's what that means. They're not getting access to resources. Minneapolis, zoned. 70% of land for single family homes. 70% of Minneapolis have been zoned for single family homes. So you can't find it's probably more now. 70% in Minneapolis, you can only buy a home. So there are no duplex, no triplex, affordable apartment complex. This is how it happens. Los Angeles, HOA power plus zoning, segregation, and disinvestment. This is how it happens, people. Before you can so you need more now. You don't just need the credit score or the money. You need the acceptance of the HOA. That's what you need. I don't see how people, ignorant, dumb, goofy people, unintelligent, stupid people don't understand what racism is. How do you not at this point? How do you not know that people are stripped from their actual livelihoods or any sort of type of preparation that they could do within life? They're stripped right at the beginning in different forms. I showed you zoning. We didn't get to redlining yet. HOA. And we just talking about right now. What about the people who was living before 1948? What about the people that was living before 1900s, 1850s, 1800s? Man, get my reparations, bro. Because this is how y'all got all the wealth. Land and housing. We know that. You pass the houses down. You pass the resources down. You build up the communities around the houses. Now the house is worth $10 million. We understand this. Get my reparations. You gave it to the survivors of the Holocaust, then you $90 billion. You gave it to the Native Americans, then you $6 billion. Where Oz at? 400 years plus. We just talking about housing. We ain't even get to the Civil War. We ain't get to Reconstruction. We ain't get to Civil Rights era, post-Civil Rights era, for what y'all did to all the people that tried to come up and do some Black Panthers, so on and so forth. And then we get to slavery. Redlining, the origin story. 1930s HOLC maps marked Black neighborhoods as hazardous. These are just facts. Denied loans, insurance, and services to redlined areas. Resulted in disinvestment, segregation, and wealth loss for generations. Some dummy just looked at a map, seen a lot of Black people was in it, took his red goofy marker and marked out that he didn't want Black people to have whatever else that was coming. That's what happened. Some ignorant white man did that. You're not intelligent if you are judging people based off the color of their skin. That's not intelligence. Who told these people that this has been going on for 400 years? We've been allowing dumb people to do this. That's not intelligence. And if it's about money, all smart people know that diversity gives you more money. Just look at Target. That's a recent example. But we all know economically diversity is where it's at. Contract buying. For those, real quick, just 30 seconds, redlining. I mean, this has happened for the longest. You just point out areas where, hey, you know what? You deem this area as being insufficient, dangerous, and people don't want to build there. That's it. Just funny to me because the kicker is this. Black people said, okay, you redlining. You've been doing redlining for forever. All right, let's just build up the poor areas. See, they like to call, and I mean the ignorant white people, ignorant people of whoever else. They like to call Black people dumb. That's not what I remember. That's not what I think. That's not what I know. See, you redlined us. So, okay, we just going to build in the poor areas. Leave us alone. We going to build in the poor areas then. We going to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, and build by the poor areas. Wilmington, North Carolina. You came in, bombed it down. Tulsa, Oklahoma. You came in, bombed it down. You bombed down Tulsa. You bombed down Wilmington, North Carolina. I mean, this happened like two or three times, man. This happened like 2 or 3 times. So I don't understand, which one do you want? You want to redline us, keep us out? You keep us out, we build. You see how great it's going. You come and knock it down. Like an ignorant mad child playing in a sandbox. No type of patience, no type of humility, Just dumb and ignorant and stupid. So that's that. Contract buying, the mortgage scam. Predatory alternative to mortgages used mostly in black neighborhoods. I talked about this earlier. No equity or deed until final payment. Did y'all read that? No equity or deed until final payment. So you're on a renter's contract, and even upon final payment, does that guarantee this is like some middleman shit. You need to go to an actual bank. They cash whoever out. And it's yours. You own the loan, whatever else. The problem with this is it was just way too shiesty. People was getting free money, man. Let's just call it what it is. People getting free money. The house is $10,000. They buy it for $10,000. They put you on a $30,000 loan. You pay 3 times what the house is worth. And if you miss a payment or if you late on one, they just tell you to get the hell out. A lot of this shit is dumb. But what do I know? 85% of homes bought by black families in 1950 Chicago used contracts. That's why none of the black families in Chicago have wealth. I'm talking about generational wealth. Not the big homie. We're not going to be able to make it to the other topics, man. What is greenlining? Intentional investment into previously redlined or neglected communities. Includes housing, health, transit, business, access. Must center community voice to avoid gentrification. I.e. the Greenlining Institute. So greenlining is the opposite of redlining, right? Making sure that, hey, these areas are safe. You can build here. They're prominent. They are flourishing. Well, they will be flourishing, and they're safe, and all those good things, right? They include health. They include good people. They include phenomenal affluent starts. There's access to business. Go here. So that's what greenlining is. But we got to be careful about this, because what white people like to do, or people with a lot of money and resources and have been living well for years, for generations, they say, hey, you know what? If that is true what you say, let's go set up shop. Let's go put up apartments. Let's go build some houses where in that community, the rent for a 1-bedroom is $1,900 a month, $2,400 a month, $2,800 a month. A house, $1 million. That's just gentrification. That's all it is. If I'm coming into a community and people are of need, if we were trying to reverse it, which we can't do in a matter of 5 years, we can't reverse uninvestment. Disinvesting for 400 years cannot be turned around in 2 to 3 years. Can't happen. I don't know why y'all expect black people to just make miracles work. I don't know. We've done it for so long. They'll do it again. We'll come burn it down again. So that's gentrification. The solutions should be made by the people who are already inside of the community. Give the people in leadership, the community, the resources to actually build something for them so that they can provide a system that actually equates to building value for the initial dollar. Not dollars brought in, the initial dollar of that community, so that the value within that community can circulate. This is why when you work for Chicago Public Schools, they want you to live in Chicago so that you can pay that dollar back. This is what Black Wall Street did in Tulsa, Oklahoma before they burned it down. The circulation of the dollar was like $1 was worth like $4 or something. Last slide, man. Next steps and solutions. Join or challenge HOA board. So when you have those HOA meetings, I encourage you to go. When you have the U.S. Census meetings or the U.S. Census paper that comes to you that tells you what's going to be within your neighborhood and what comes around. I got a close dear person who I love and appreciate, living in the suburbs. They go to the city. You know, she asked me, why are there so many churches? Why are there so many liquor stores? Like, well, that's kind of strange. Who's signing off on that? I asked the same thing. I don't know. I have no fucking clue why this shit is here. Vote in zoning and housing elections. Voting does change something, guys. You need to vote in those judges. I know it sounds like it won't, but try to vote on those people who change what comes into the city, what money is brought into certain schools and states. Support reparative policies and land trusts. Educate others using platforms like the podcast. So, my overall take is this. We're going to get to the other topics later. Probably tomorrow, more than likely. We could save those. My overall take is this, man. Let's get our bread. Let's get knowledgeable. Let's help other people understand what's going on. And maybe we could become better individuals as we build the landscapes beside us so that they can become better for the people who are coming up. Get beside somebody who's knowledgeable. My whole take on this is you don't know what you don't know. And this history right here, the life that we live in, to me, it's a simulation. There has to be an alternate timeline somewhere. All of this stuff to me just seems crazy. And the fact that so many people are ignorant to it and believe they know something when they open their mouth is tragic. We don't have enough altruistic individuals within the earth that we actually walk past each day. We don't have people building some sort of providence that makes sense, logically, filled with reason, and exudes patience. We don't have any of that. So what I'm trying to do is shed light on that. This presentation going up in Reels. And we're going to expose people to the truth. Like always, I love you guys. Appreciate you for rocking with us. In this simulation, provide a demonstration to the higher power showing who you are. Only then do we soar across the pages of life. Until next time, please. Love it to you.